dragged away, handcuffs clamped tight. A schoolboy, no older than 15, is wrestled by police officers inside a McDonald's. His crime? Buying a burger after 5 p.m. Ricky Gervais is furious. The image of a child treated like a hardened criminal has ripped through Britain, and Gervais isn't laughing. He's erupting in rage, calling out what he sees as the clearest proof yet that Starmer's Britain has lost its mind. When comedians are forced to speak louder than politicians, something has gone terribly wrong. It's a scene that should never exist in a so-called first-world democracy. Police swarming a fast food restaurant, hauling out a boy like he's a gang leader, all because of a ridiculous curfew law. In any sane society, the story would sound like satire. But this is Starmer's Britain, where force is used not against the violent gangs terrorizing our neighborhoods, but against harmless children trying to grab a meal on the way home. Ricky Gervais didn't hold back. He mocked the absurdity with his trademark bluntness, but beneath the laughter, his rage was deadly serious. He asked the same question echoing across the country. How can anyone justify this madness? The boy, dragged out as his friends screamed in disbelief, has now become a symbol of everything wrong with Britain's two-tier justice system. On one side, criminals roam the streets, unchallenged knife gangs, predators, violent thugs. On the other side, police waste entire squads on chasing a child in a McDonald's. It's not just heavy-handed, it's humiliating. And for Gervais, it's proof that the government is completely out of touch with ordinary life. You can't call this law and order, he roared. You can only call it bullying. Starmer, of course, stayed silent at first. He always does. He never steps in until outrage reaches boiling point. The pattern is predictable. Wait it out, hope people forget, pretend nothing happened. But this time the outrage isn't dying down. Videos of the arrest are everywhere. Parents are fuming. Students are scared. And Ricky Gervais has turned the spotlight on the government's cowardice. He sneered at the idea that leadership means hiding behind police while children are manhandled. A leader, he spat, faces the people. A leader admits when the system has failed. Instead, Starmer points to empty promises about neighborhood policing, while neighborhoods themselves are falling apart. This isn't about one boy or one meal. It's about the warped priorities shaping an entire nation. Why do officers avoid entire districts at night terrified of gangs, yet feel brave enough to pin a schoolboy against the counter of a fast food joint? Why is taxpayer money wasted on absurd curfew raids while real criminals run free? These are the questions Gervais threw back at Starmer's government, his anger cutting through every word. He mocked the so-called officers as nothing more than actors in fancy dress playing at power while failing their duty. In his words, if you can't stand up to machete gangs, don't take it out on kids eating burgers. The boys' parents are devastated. They were never even called before their son was dragged into a van. For them, this isn't politics, it's trauma. A child who should have been eating dinner at home ended up bruised, frightened, and treated like a criminal. And Britain is watching. Ricky Gervais isn't alone in his fury. Across the country, more and more people are asking if this is really the best use of police resources, if this is really the kind of Britain we're handing to the next generation. Because if a child can't even buy a burger without risking arrest, what freedoms do we actually have left? Ricky Gervais didn't stop at outrage, he tore into the heart of the issue. For him, this isn't just about a schoolboy in cuffs. It's about the steady march toward a Britain where ordinary people are crushed under petty rules, while the powerful bend justice to their will. He called it exactly what millions are whispering, a two-tier system designed to keep regular citizens silent and afraid. The real criminals, he argued, are never touched. Grooming gangs, machete-wielding thugs, drug dealers, extremists, they stalk our neighborhoods with impunity. Police, under Starmer's orders, either look the other way or refuse to enter entire areas after dark. Yet when it comes to a 15-year-old hungry after school, the state suddenly discovers its strength. Gervais spat with contempt at the hypocrisy, mocking the idea that Britain has become a place where a burger is more dangerous than a blade. This double standard is what ignites his rage. Because what happened in that McDonald's is not an isolated accident, It's the result of deliberate choices. Choices about where power is deployed, choices about which groups are shielded and which are targeted. And time and again, those choices fall hardest on ordinary British families. The boy's arrest is just the latest warning shot. Before him, it was a schoolgirl handcuffed. Before her, another child humiliated at school for wearing the Union Jack. Each story piling on top of the last, each one leaving ordinary people more disillusioned, more furious, more betrayed. Gervais sees the pattern, and he refuses to shut up about it. He calls out the fear driving it: fear of being branded, fear of headlines, fear of confronting the real problems. That's not law and order, he thundered. That's cowardice dressed up in uniform. And it's that cowardice that cuts deepest. Because for ordinary citizens, the message is clear. Speak out, and you'll be branded far right. Show pride in your culture, and you'll be silenced. Step out of line, and you'll be arrested. But if you belong to one of the untouchable groups, the rules somehow never apply. This is the injustice Ricky Gervais has zero patience for. He may be a comedian, but in this moment there's nothing funny about his rage. He sees a government obsessed with controlling the harmless while ignoring the dangerous. He sees officers trained to bully schoolchildren instead of protecting streets. He sees a prime minister more comfortable lecturing citizens than listening to them. And he sees the future, a future where free speech, common sense, and even basic decency are sacrificed to keep the illusion of order alive. The more you peel back the layers, the darker it becomes. Taxpayer resources aren't just being wasted, they're being weaponized. Hours of police time spent to arrest a boy for a burger means hours not spent stopping crime. Every van deployed to patrol fast food restaurants is a van not stopping knife fights in alleyways. And every heavy-handed arrest like this one drives a deeper wedge between the public and those who claim to serve them. Ricky Gervais put it bluntly. If your entire strategy relies on terrifying kids in McDonald's, maybe it's not the kids who are the problem. His words hit hard because they ring true. The trust is broken. The respect is gone. And the people are waking up to the fact that this isn't safety, it's theater. A show of force designed to scare, not to serve. What happened to that boy could happen to anyone's child. That's what makes the story so chilling. Parents now wonder if letting their kids stop for food is a risk. Teenagers question whether stepping out after sunset could mean a night in a cell. And meanwhile, the real predators continue to walk free. This is how fear works, drip by drip, incident by incident, until an entire nation feels powerless. But Ricky Gervais refuses to bow to that fear. He says what many are too afraid to say aloud: that Starmer's Britain is drifting away from freedom and into control. That each ridiculous arrest, each silenced voice, each punished child, is another brick in a wall built to keep citizens in line. And unless that wall is challenged, it will grow higher with every passing year. The arrest of a schoolboy for buying a meal after 5 p.m. is not a minor event. It's a warning, a sign that the balance has tipped too far. When the state is comfortable humiliating children in public, no one is safe. That's the truth Ricky Gervais is shouting, and it's why his eruption matters. Because in the silence of government, in the cowardice of institutions, in the apathy of those who look away, a comedian has become the voice of reason.